First of Keith Talks. Thanks ever so much. Thank you for joining. So, success. Success is a fantastic byproduct of your relentless, purposeful hard work. Thank you very much for joining me this evening for the first of many of our Keith Talks designed to inspire and give you the tools to unlock your relentless mindset. And our subject that we're going to be opening with today is pushing the upper boundaries of ambition. But firstly, I want to talk a little bit about some of the goals that I've set myself, some of the, what I see as outrageous goals that I've been most proud of in my life. And firstly, long-haired Keith, live as an international athlete. For 20 years, I had the honour of representing Great Britain and getting to race at about 25 different countries, getting to race at World Championships and European Championships, and reaching top 10 in the world on multiple occasions. I then went on to the exciting world of ultra running and completed a race called the Dragon's Back, which was the length of Wales, and it was a challenge both physically and mentally, and my reward for running 12 hours each day was to go and have a bath in a river, freezing cold in Wales, and sleep in a tent, only to wake up the next morning and go again. But on the way, I got to see some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen in a race, and during the course of the race we climbed the equivalent of Mount Everest in its height twice. Record breaking, I completed a non-stop canoe race, the longest non-stop canoe race in the world. Devizes to Westminster, 125 miles, and last year we took this on and smashed the record on this race. And this was a record that had stood for over 40 years, and a record that a lot of people said couldn't be beaten. And about 2 years prior to this race, I had the opportunity to meet the current record holder. I was at the World Championships and I caught up with a guy called Tim who had the record along with someone else, Brian, and Tim was there, and we got talking, and it came up in the conversation. I said, I'm looking to take on your record. We're going to do this race and I'll take on your record, and I think I can beat it. It stood for over 40 years. And he said very simply back, well, someone might as well, and it could be you. And I thought, well, I'm already quite confident, but the words he used were kind of a wake-up, I guess. It was a reminder of a philosophy that I really think I've lived my life by, and that is, if someone can do it, then why can't it be me? And I knew that if I was able to beat that record, then I would end up fulfilling something that I was pursuing in the sport. And a dream that I had since I was young, I'd see the kind of legends of the sport, as I refer to them, the guys who were awesome, the names that kept coming up, even if they weren't raced anymore, you knew their names. And I wanted to be remembered as one of those legends. So I knew that if I did this race, that would tick that box for me. That would be my outrageous goal that I would achieve. Or in the words of Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the legions of the North, Gladiator 2000, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Now, do you know what you want to achieve in your life? I want to talk about two things today: setting outrageous goals and my 100 credit theory. The first thing on our goals. If you need to set yourself a goal that you can't achieve. And what I mean by that is that you need to set a goal that you can't achieve without making a significant change to your life. Because if you set a goal that doesn't require you to make massive action, to significantly change your life, then you're not challenging yourself enough. You're not going to look back on that and be proud of what you've achieved. If you set yourself a goal that you know you can already achieve, you're not stretching yourself. You're not challenging yourself. You're not pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And at the end of it, you're not going to be overly proud of what you've achieved, and you're limiting your potential. So you've got to set yourself a goal that when you look back on it, you think, wow, I didn't think I could do that. And I will talk about one of the first times I took on that 125-mile race. It was an attempt to be the first mixed K2 to win it. This race had run for a long, long time. Back when it started, they didn't let females be in a race at all. and a female had never won it. And it's a doubles race, so it's a non-stop, 125 miles through the night. And I teamed up with a lady called Lizzie Broughton, and she was very fast. She was the second fastest marathon paddler in the world. At the time, I was the seventh fastest man in the world. So we thought, we're going to be pretty good at this, we should take it on. But I knew at the time of getting ready for the race, when we agreed to do it, we weren't quick enough to win. If the race was the following week, the following month, 2 months' time, 3 months' time, there's no way we'd be able to do that. So we set this task, we set an outrageous goal to be the first mixed K2 to ever win the race. And it meant we had to start taking massive action. We needed to change our lives in order to be able to do that. And we could start working harder, and we trained a lot harder to get ready for this. But we also started reaching out to our network of people. We started doing more and more research into what we thought we needed to do in able to win this race. And one of the things we needed to do is learn stuff that I hadn't got a clue about. So the last part of the race finishes at Westminster Bridge. It's tidal as you're coming towards the end. And I didn't know what section or what time we should get to the lock in order to get the best outgoing tide to finish at Westminster. Did some research, looked online, people had opinions on it. And eventually I reached out to someone from the Port of London Authority and I asked them, emailed them, thinking, that's going into a filter, that's never coming back. But then someone did reply to me with loads and loads of charts, loads of information, loads of historic data on different points throughout the Thames about what the flow is at different times, depending on what the tide's doing. And I looked at that, oh my goodness, I've got to learn this now. And it said at the bottom of the email, so you should arrive at Teddington at 22 minutes past 8 in the morning. Brilliant. Someone had done that hard work for me. I had a team of people that had reached out to help as well, get ready for this race. Because early on, you go under all these low bridges and it slows it down. So I had a team of people cycling along to help me. And the race goes through the night. But in my mind, I never did it in the dark because I had people cycling along with the lights, holding them up for me. They'd run alongside. We have these low bridges that the team would get to ahead of us getting there, and it opened the bridge. So it swung open, so I didn't have to duck. All it meant is I saved about 5 to 10 seconds. This is a 15-hour race, and I wanted to save 10 seconds early on. But I reached out to my network of people to help me to make that first part of my journey a lot easier. We even managed to, I don't know how we got this, we managed to get a key that unlocked a bridge that went over a road. You don't really see them much around London, but out in the depths of Marlborough and Devizes, there's a main road, as main as you get out there, and a swing bridge. And we found a key. If you turn it, press 2 buttons together, the whole bridge comes up, turns sideways, and you stop the traffic for about a quarter of an hour. But I did decide that I probably shouldn't ask my support crew to do that, because the last thing I wanted to do is get caught up, something go wrong, and someone's just standing there with a bike with a closed road for a while. So we didn't do that, but we looked into each of these options. And the reason why I'm emphasizing these points is to reach these goals, you can work towards them. You can improve on what you're doing. You can apply yourself more and more and more. But in order to achieve the really outrageous goals, you've got to reach out to the people who can be the biggest influence on you, who can help you, who can make your life easier to be able to achieve those goals. And that takes me on to my second topic that I want to talk about, my 100 credit theory. Now my 100 credit theory is based on once you're finished growing up and you start picking your own goals that you want to aspire to, you've got 100 credits. Now you can stay with 100 credits, but you can only achieve 100 credit ambitions as a result. Now I want you to picture now. I want you to picture a castle that you want to live in. I want you to picture what that might look like, what that might include. Mine's got a massive moat, it's got a lazy river on it, it's got a few cocktail bars, it's got a pool table in there, it's got table tennis, probably one of those automatic machines that fire table tennis balls at you, so you don't have to wait for Andy to come along so you can play against. But it's impressive. You've got 100 credits, but that castle that you're picturing, that you want to work towards, costs 10,000 credits. And you can get more, but you've got to start applying yourself. You've got to start learning. You've got to start trying. You've got to start improving. You get a few more credits as a result. So when I was getting ready for the race, I had 100 credits. To be the first crew to ever win that race, we needed 1,000. So we started training harder. We get a few more credits. And I get closer and closer to my goal. I reach out to a few people for some help, and I get a few more credits. I sent an email to the Port of London Authority. Without that person, he's just gone on an email. There you go, there's 20 credits. The information that I got from that person got me much closer to my goal. So think about, what is your outrageous goal, and what do you need to do in order to close the gap from where you are to where you want to get to? So you start with 100 credits. That 100 credits is enough for a pop-up tent at a festival. Sort of thing that doesn't really put up much to the wind, and you don't want to take it down at the end and you're justified leaving it there because someone's going to give it to charity. That's all you're going to get if you don't start improving your life, if you don't start working on something. In order to get to that ambitious goal, you need to think, what am I going to do? So start mapping now, how am I going to get those extra credits? Is it learning? If so, what are you going to do? Is it training because you've got an ambitious physical goal that you're working towards? What do you need to do to close the gap? Who's got credits that they can give you if you reach out to them? What networks are you part of? Who knows what you're trying to achieve much better than you do, and have you spoken to them? Have you asked them? Have you put a lunch request in to get knowledge from them? If you haven't done those things, then at the moment you're kind of content to have smaller goals. But when you look back on it in a year's time, 2 years' time, 10 years' time, you'll regret not being ambitious enough and not relentlessly working towards achieving those. And what I want to leave you with is a reminder that if you can already achieve your goal without taking massive action, then you're probably not going to change your life. And if you can't picture the goal that you're working towards, then you don't know the size of the dream that you're trying to get to, and you won't know the steps you need to take, and you won't know what it is when you get there. And if you don't work on your goal, then you'll never gather enough credits you need to be able to achieve your goal. And the person who can make the biggest difference to you closing the gap on your success and the goals that you want to achieve is you. So think big, take massive action, and let what you do in life echo in your eternity. Thanks very much for listening.